What's up, boxing world? Show number 8 of the 13th round with Freddylokz. Let's get right into it. Last Friday night, we had a couple of fights. In case you're wondering what happened to Ricardo Piolo Castillo, Jose Luis Castillo's little brother, he had a local fight here in Mexicali. He got stopped against Giovanni Caro. We also had Andre the Matrix Durrell with a beautiful display of power over once highly rated Anthony Henshaw. Andre proved that he's in the mix of contenders in the 168-pound division. I can't wait to see him fight again. I mean, he left me wanting more. He showed a lot of heart, a lot of he wanted to win bad, and he wanted to impress the fans, and he did. And my big ups to Andre Durrell for doing that and showing the fans that he can bang and mix it up when he wants to. Big ups to him. We also had Golden Boy's Vicente Escobedo with a decision victory over Robert Arieta. Now, I don't know what's going on with Vicente. You know, sometimes he looks good, sometimes he looks bad, and he was once one of the most talked about prospects. You know, and what I think happened is Abner Mares. You know, Abner Mares started stepping up his game, fighting some top quality guys and winning convincingly. You know, knocking people out. You know, and he's really proved to be one of the best prospects out there. You know, so Vicente Escobedo, I think it's about that time to step your game up, because you were once even talked about as being the next Oscar de la Hoya. But you know, we'll see what happens. Saturday we had Darnell Wilson. He dropped the decision to Frat Arslan over in Germany. You know, I mean, I said either Darnell's gonna knock him out or Arslan was gonna outbox him, and he outboxed him. Big ups to him. The internet's very own Charlie Z, he got DQ'd out there against Andrew Hartley, I believe his name is. You know, he talked a lot of smack, and once he stepped in the ring, he found out that taking punches in the face is a lot harder than it looks. You know what I mean? He spit out his mouthpiece a couple times and got DQ'd. We'll see what goes from there. Peter Manfredo back on a 2-win winning streak since his loss to Lacey, defeating Luis Lopez, I believe his name was. We'll see what happens with Peter Manfredo. I think he needs to drop some weight and probably be a contender in the 154-pound division, but at 168, I don't see no hope at all. And from the Home Depot Center, we had Daniel Jacobs keeping his KO percentage at 100. Now he's 6-0 with 6 knockouts, I believe. We also had Danny Garcia. He kept his undefeated record intact. These are two prospects on Golden Boy's label, and they're really highly talked about. They look good, and we'll see what happens. We'll see where they go from there. Victor Ortiz came off the canvas to KO Dairo Salas. It was a pretty rugged fight. I mean, Dairo made it hard, and people forget that he has an alright chin and he has decent power. He just banged it out with Panchito Bojalo, I believe, about a year and a half ago. So you know, he's a pretty tough opponent. I mean, people look at the records and just always indicate Victor's gonna knock him out in one round, but it's not like that. You know, he showed that he can bang, and it was a pretty good fight. Had me be a little worried at first, but he overcame it. Big ups to Victor Ortiz, man. The main event, Golden Boy versus Stevie Forbes. Now, I knew was going to be a tough fight. I mean, if you see last week's show, I said it. You know what I mean? I don't know why people were going against Forbes so bad. I mean, Oscar, TKO, KO in 1-2. I mean, that's BS. Stevie's never been hurt, dropped. He's been robbed a lot. And I mean, I don't think he lost to Hopkins. I don't think he lost to the contender dude, Grady Brewer. You know, he's a tough opponent. A little bit smaller, but he's tough. He's tough as nails, man. And if it was up to me, I'd take all the money Floyd made and gave it to Stevie. He deserved it. He stood there. He fought toe to toe. He banged it out, and he showed that he really wanted to win that fight. You know what I mean? It wasn't for exposure. It wasn't for nothing. That was really his dream. I mean, even the song he came out to was proof that he really wanted to win that fight, man. And big up to Stevie. I see him winning the fight. You know what I mean? I see him as a winner in this fight, even though he lost it. You know. I hope nothing but good comes to Stevie from now on. You know, he's proved himself in the ring time after time, and this fight just proved it again. You know what I mean? Now, Wednesday night fights, we had Mike Oliver. He was upset by the tough Colombian Reynaldo Lopez. I was a bit surprised. I mean, Mike Oliver has a pretty good wins over Cruz Carbajal, Al Seeger, Gary Stark, Adam Carrera. I mean, he has a lot of top guys on his resume, you know, but that goes to show you can't overlook anybody in search of a title fight. He wanted a title fight bad. He was looking over everybody, and we see now what happened. You know what I mean? He wasn't even probably training hard for Reynaldo, and look what happened. He got caught and he got put down, out for the 10 count. Let's jump into some news and notes. The biggest upset for me was hearing that Zab Judah was taking a shower, slipped something, and he got some stitches. The fight is off, the whole card is off, which is pretty bad because I was really looking forward to that card. That was a beautiful card lined up for us boxing fans. Martin El Gallito Castillo announced his retirement. You know, he didn't look too good in his last fight with Montiel. He hasn't really looked good. He went from being talked about really, really highly to all of a sudden going downhill. So if that's what he wants, I'll support him. Martin Castillo gave us a lot of great fights in the lower weight classes, and we'll see what happens. I think he might come back in about a year or two. You know, those boxers, they never stay retired. I wanted to take some time off too to send a big shout out to Diego Corrales' family. You know, it's been a year since his death. You know, may he rest in peace. One of the sports warriors. I mean, die hard. You know, he was either gonna leave it on the ring or nothing. You know, he was a die hard boxer, and we truly miss him. So I would like to dedicate this little part of the show to him. Rest in peace, Diego Chico Corrales. We miss you. Ruslan Chagayev seems to be back on track against Nikolai Valuev. I think it fell off, but it's set for July 5th now. Not really too into that fight. I mean, it's not till we get a solid champ at heavyweight division. I don't think I'll pretty much be into that division, you know. It's been kind of lacking lately. One champion here, he loses the title. One champion there, he loses the title. So the heavyweight division is at an all-time low right now. I think the true champ is Vladimir Klitschko, but that's a whole nother story. Upcoming fights and predictions. We have Mighty Mark Arnaudes. He's trying to get back on track. He's facing Leonardo Tyner. The biggest fight for me this weekend, though, is not Witter versus Bradley. It's Mitchell Rosales versus Mike Alvarado. You know, it's gonna be a tough fight, but you know what? Yes, sir. I'm calling the upset. I'm going with Rosales on this one. I look for him to raise his hands. I think Rosales has what it takes to stop the winning streak by Mike Alvarado. Even though Mike Alvarado's a tough dude, man, I really see him losing this fight. And I'm taking Witter over Bradley. Decision. Bradley seems like a tough dude, but I don't think he has what it takes to beat Junior Witter, especially a hungry Junior Witter. Now, questions from the viewers. First up, we got DJ Infamoso from the Cycle Round Forum. He says, "Hey, homie, I gotta ask you a question. Who do you think is the greatest Mexican boxer ever?" Chavez: "I got into a scrap with a fool who got mad when I told him Salvador Sanchez would have knocked Julio Cesar on his ass. I only met one dude who has agreed with me. He was an older vato. None of the young fools even know who Salvador Sanchez is." That's some sad shit. Now, Salvador was great, you know, really great, all-time great, you know, but I think his death overrated him a little bit. If a prime Camacho didn't outbox Chavez, if a prime Chapo Rosario didn't knock him out or even hurt him, I don't see Salvador Sanchez putting him on his ass. You know, my brother-in-law brought it up and he told me that might have been Chavez's trilogy. You know how Chavez never really had a trilogy, so that's good. I mean, I can see that happening. I can see maybe Julio dropping a split, maybe, you know what I mean? But me personally, I don't really see it happening. But you know, hearing what other people have to say had me thinking about it, and yeah, they're right. Maybe he could have dropped a little split, but I don't see it happening personally. I don't see Chavez getting dropped in his prime by anybody, put it that way. Chino to the Pimp from the Lay Low Forum asks, "How do I think Marquez will do against Nate Campbell?" Now, Nate Campbell outdid Juan Diaz in a dirty fight. I don't think he'll do Marquez like that. Marquez is a veteran, and I could see Marquez outboxing him. I don't want to say easy because Nate is dirty and he's a tough veteran. But I can see Marquez pulling a decision on that. You know, I see Marquez doing it, counter punching, bringing back his counter punching skills and getting a decision over Nate Campbell. We also have Baby Huey from the Lay Low Forum. He asked, "What was my assessment of the Forbes versus Oscar fight? Was it good for boxing?" Yes, because it was free. I don't know what people expected. You know, we have those half-ass fans that thought Forbes was gonna get knocked out in one round. I didn't think that way. So for me, it was good for boxing just to see Oscar fight for free. Now, big ups to all my supporters: Lay Low, Eastside Boxing, Max Boxing, Box Rec, the Cycle Round family, and now you YouTubers out there. Remember, all your questions to the 13th round with Freddylokz at yahoo.com. Peace.